How's it going, everybody? This is Pristine Paper back again for another video, and today I'm going to be going through a massive lot of movies I picked up over the last month or so. These come from a variety of places like eBay, Amazon, even like a used book and movie store, along with some other secondhand stores. And yeah, I have, I think, close to like 60 titles here. From the camera view, it looks like a big wall of movies, but it kind of is actually. So I thought it'd be fun to run through what I've been picking up recently. I've been picking up cards as well, but I'm waiting on a couple that have gotten stuck in eBay authentication. So that will get his own video. I'm still waiting for that to arrive, along with another couple really nice ones. So for now, you just have the movies, and like I said, there's a lot of them. I have a lot to talk about, and yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So the first one I'm going to be discussing is Godzilla Minus One, which is a movie I saw a few years ago. Kind of about like almost like the Godzilla origin story. It's a Japanese movie, and it is awesome. I love the special effects. As you can see, it won an Academy Award for Best Visual Effects, and you can tell the people that made this movie really had respect for the messaging behind Godzilla and the source material. If you don't know, Godzilla is kind of a metaphor for the atomic bomb that the United States dropped on Japan back in World War II. So that's when Godzilla was kind of created. That's, I think, around like the 1950s. Yeah, in post-war Japan, that's when this movie was taking place. So I really love this one a lot. It's better than any of the American Godzilla releases we've gotten in the last few years. So yeah, I'm really happy to finally add this one to the collection. Next up, we have the Star Wars trilogy, the original trilogy, A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. I got this for super cheap because it's actually missing just one of the discs. It's missing the Return of the Jedi Blu-ray, but it has all the other discs. So, if I ever wanted to just get Return of the Jedi on Blu-ray for really cheap, I can just, add that into this collection. But yeah, all on Blu-ray and DVD. I know there's definitely like some better releases of this. There's a 4K, of course, and there's like a better, um, I think it's a 6 movie release, with the sequel trilogy. So I don't really need those. I don't really need that. I think this is good enough for me for right now. And like I said, the deal I got it for was amazing. So really happy about that. Next up here we have Shazam with this really cool lenticular slip cover here. I got this also at the used bookstore for really cheap. I liked this movie when it first came out, and I enjoyed the different aspect of the DC EU that it brought, and I thought the Asher Angel did a great job as Billy Batson. Zachary Levi was fine. He could be a little overacting, a little bit too much at points, kind of like the DC version of Daredevil or Ryan Reynolds in a way. But yeah, overall, I really like this movie. I like the themes of family that it harps on. I did not like the second movie at all, so I will not be adding that to the collection at any point. But yeah, I really liked the first Shazam, so got it in my collection now. Next up is Inside Out 2. Now, I bought this thinking I had the original Inside Out in my collection, but I didn't, or I don't. So this is just the second movie that I have for now in the nice, almost foil slipcover here. And yeah, I enjoyed this one. Not as good as the first one, but I like the aspect of, anxiety and embarrassment and envy. I like those negative emotions that were brought into the fold because, you know, I think those are some pretty important things that teenagers go through. That's what this movie is about. A young preteen of Riley going through some things. So yeah, and there's some cool bonus features on this one as well. Happy to have this. Really like the Inside Out um, series, I guess you could say. This one is awesome. Not a lot of people like this one a lot, but it's Brightburn. It's produced by James Gunn, and this is essentially the Superman origin story, but if he was evil and not a superhero. I watched this recently with my fiance. We both enjoyed it. It wasn't a perfect movie. There are definitely aspects that could have been better, but I like the horror elements that they brought to it, and some of the gore was like really, I don't know. I don't want to say revolutionary, but very interesting to see in like a superhero, supervillain origin story type of movie. We don't get a lot of those like supervillain origin movies. So, it would have been cool to see like if they made like a sequel to this one as he was an adult or something like that. But just for the aspect of the horror elements, I really enjoyed it, and I'm glad to add this to the collection as well. Got it for like really cheap. Then I got this movie here, Night at the Museum. This was like sealed when I bought it, so I took the wrapping off. One of the first Blu-rays, it looks like. As you can see, it has all like the specifications and things like that in the back. Barely anything about the actual movie, but this is a movie that I watched with my family a lot growing up. I really enjoyed it. I'm a big history buff. Even back then, I was, so I really enjoyed like the aspects with the Teddy Roosevelt, Sacagawea, Attila the Hun, and yeah, Ben Stiller was great in this movie as well. The other two releases, like the Night Museum 2 and 3, I've only seen the second one actually, so I'm not really a fan of that one. I never watched the third ones, but really enjoyed this one a lot. And it's kind of a nice childhood memory movie that I can now own myself and add to the collection. This one here is really interesting. This is a Cartoon Saloon's Irish folklore trilogy. Now, this contains Secret of the Kells, Wolfwalkers, and Song of the Sea. I've only seen Wolfwalkers because it was on Apple TV, and I really adored that movie. Like the animation, the voice acting, the storytelling, everything about it was amazing. So I really wanted to have it on physical media, and this is the only way you can get it on physical media is in this trilogy pack. And this is region locked. It won't be able to be played on any North American or South American players. So I need to find a region free player eventually, so I can actually watch this. But I'm glad to just have it in the collection, in case it ever got taken off of streaming. And yeah, I'll need to check out these other two films. If they're anything like Wolfwalkers, I'm sure I'll really enjoy them. But yeah, there's the trilogy, the Irish folklore trilogy. Next up is a sports movie that I watched recently that I thought was excellent. It was called Sugar. Really kind of under the radar movie, I guess you can say. I'd never heard of it before. I'd watched it, and it's a really nice kind of like fish out of water baseball story. A Dominican pitcher gets signed to the big leagues and moves from the Dominican Republic to the middle of nowhere in the United States, kind of like in the Midwest. And he's stays with a family, and it's really interesting. He is adjusting to the American culture and baseball at the next level, and kind of what he wants to do with his talents and stuff like that. So really interesting movie. I highly recommend it if you're able to watch it on streaming or anything like that. Sugar, really, like I said, really enjoyed that one. Next up, I got this Sherlock Holmes release with Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law. I'd watched this one back maybe when I was a preteen. I remember liking it, and I never had purchased it up until now. I got it at a used bookstore for like $3 or something crazy cheap. And yeah, I had the slipcover and everything. And yeah, I just thought, what, I should give this another chance. Maybe add it to the collection. I love Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law is great. Rachel McAdams is also one of my favorite actresses. So really happy to revisit this one. And if I don't like it, like I said, I haven't mentioned this, but I can always trade these movies back into like Bull Moose or the used bookstore that I bought them from for store credit or something. So not too much skin off my back if I don't like the movie. Polite Society is a really interesting British Pakistani action comedy. As you can see, it says Big Trouble Little Sister. I think it's supposed to make some play off of Big Trouble in Little China, but it was just a fun movie. It has some good action, good fight scenes. Essentially, there's an arranged marriage, and the little sister is trying to save her big sister from making that mistake of marrying somebody. That's all I can really explain without spoiling it too much. But yeah, it's really interesting. She wants to be a stunt woman as well, the younger sister. So lots of cool action and stunts in this. And yeah, me and my fiance both really enjoyed it, so I picked it up on Amazon for pretty cheap. So that's Polite Society. Then I picked up Dune 2 Part 2 on 4K. I have the original Part 1 on Blu-ray, but I watched Part 2 and I'm like, wow, I really need to get this movie on 4K to get the full potential out of it. Just that opening scene, I'd love to see that opening scene in 4K. And I thought it would have the slipcover when I bought it on Amazon. It looked like it was pictured in the slipcover, but didn't arrive in the slipcover, which is fine. I'm not too big on like movies that don't have slipcovers, but eventually, maybe when Dune Part 3 comes out and I want to make sure they all have slips, then I'll get the slip for this one. But yeah, this is a great movie, visually, stunning. Some aspects of it aren't my favorite, but overall, it's a great story. I love the Harkonnen background that kind of delves more into, and yeah, like I said, the visual effects in this are insane. So there's Dune Part 2. Next up is actually a DVD. Now I'll buy DVDs if there's no other form of release for a film. So I have a couple DVDs in this haul right here, and a couple in the collection. But overall, I try to go for Blu-ray and 4K if it's cheap enough, just to get the better picture quality. Like I said, this one did not have a Blu-ray or 4K release. It's called "Don't Let's Go to the Dogs Tonight," which is an interesting title. It's based on a book of the same title that tells the story of a girl living in 1980s Zimbabwe, or Rhodesia, formerly Rhodesia, and it's kind of just her life on the farm with her family, and it kind of goes into some themes of, I guess, parroting parents and ownership, and um, just what life was like back then in kind of unregulated Africa. It was a really interesting movie. Not maybe for everybody, but this young girl, what's her name? Lexi Venter. One of the best child performances I've ever seen in a movie. It was so captivating watching this young girl, experience these events through her eyes and through her lens, and yeah, it was really interesting movie. Like I said, not for everybody. It's a pretty slow burner, but I really enjoyed it, and I picked it up on DVD. So there we go. Don't Let's Go to the Dogs Tonight. I still don't really understand the title, but whatever. Now this one, I adored this movie, The Grizzlies, which is based on a true story, as you can see right there. This is a movie that is inspired by a true story of an Inuit town up in northern Canada, and I guess you can say a white teacher goes and teaches school there and tries to get the children who are involved in night culture and drinking and drugs, out of that aspect of their lives and into something productive like sports and specifically lacrosse. Really a touching movie that pulls at the heartstrings. Has themes of suicide, drug use, abuse, alcoholism, things like that, and just one of the best movies I've seen in a long time. I watched it the other day with my fiance, and we both gave it 5 stars on Letterboxd. Highly recommend if you can find it anywhere on streaming, or you can get the DVD for pretty cheap on Amazon. Yeah, just a really great story with some great First Nation actors as well. The most well known, I think, is Bobo Stewart. He was on Disney Channel for some, I think it was The Descendants or something like that. But yeah, I really like this movie a lot, and the scenery of I'm gonna put the name of it on the screen here. I forget the Canadian province, but it's the northernmost province, and yeah, it was great. It was a great movie. Really highly recommend for a sports movie. Now these next few I haven't seen. The Peanut Butter Falcon, I've heard lots of great things about this one with Shia LaBeouf and Dakota Johnson, and yeah, I don't really have much else to say about it. I got it at a secondhand store for pretty cheap, and at some point I'll watch this one and add a review of it to my letterbox. So yeah, really excited to watch that one, The Peanut Butter Falcon. Another one I haven't seen but heard good things about, Belfast, the Kenneth Branagh film. The cast is pretty good. I mean, it has Judi Dench and Jamie Dornan and a lot of other, I guess, Irish actors in it. Again, not much to say about this one. Kind of set in 1960s Ireland. Black and white movie. Maybe not for everybody, who can kind of get lost in that aspect of the film, but yeah, I'm looking forward to watching this one. I like Kenneth Branagh a lot, so there we go. Got the slipcover as well. Now this one I've seen here, The Suicide Squad, James Gunn's Suicide Squad. Hilarious movie. I loved this movie when I watched it. I've watched it a couple times, and I'm not really one for rewatching movies, soon after the first viewing, but I watched this one like 2 or 3 times after the first viewing, and I loved it. It was like the introduction of Peacemaker. The material was handled really well, unlike the 2016 Suicide Squad, It has a slipcover. Margot Robbie was great. Idris Elba was great. I love the little rivalry between Idris Elba's character and John Cena's character, Peacemaker. And King Shark was great, voiced by Stallone. So a really great overall um, superhero, supervillain movie that was nice that to watch. In the grand scheme of like superhero overload in terms of superhero movies coming out with Marvel and stuff like that. Definitely a different take on everything. It definitely has that James Gunn feel. So really happy to have the Suicide Squad in the collection. Now these next three I have not seen either, but really excited to. I've always wanted to see this one, Moon, with Sam Rockwell. Don't have much to say, of course, but I've heard really great things. And yeah, I love sci-fi movies, and Sam Rockwell is one of my favorite actors. So there we go. We got Moon. These next two are ones that my fiance Layla wanted to get at the used book and movie store we were at. Garden State with Natalie Portman and Zach Braff. Anything with Natalie Portman, I guess I'm interested in because she's a great actress as well. Kind of like a romantic comedy, I guess. We'll watch that one at some point. And Me Before You with Emilia Clarke and Sam Claflin. I haven't seen this one either. Heard some good things about it. I've heard more things about this one than Garden State, but yeah, another one that Layla really wanted to watch with me, so we'll watch it at some point. And that was the first stack. Let's move on to the second one here. All right, second stack. Let's get into it. First one we have is The Adventures of Tintin, limited 3D edition. Steven Spielberg and Peter Jackson produced, and I think, did Spielberg direct this one? Yeah, it was. Steven Spielberg directed this one. I really liked this movie a lot when it came out. I watched it a couple times. I didn't really know much about Tintin. I know there was a comic series about him back in the day, but this is just a fun overall adventure movie. Interesting animation as well, and it's been a while since I've seen it, so I need to rewatch it at some point. Maybe with my fiance, she has not seen it. So yeah, really looking forward to watching this one again. Probably won't be watching the 3D disc, but still nice to have in there. If I ever wanted to do that. So The Adventures of Tintin. The next one I have not seen, but it's a classic, Deer Hunter, with John Cazale, John Savage, Meryl Streep, and Christopher Walken. Pretty sure it's like a war type veteran movie. Like I said, I haven't seen it. Heard lots of great things. But yeah, I'll watch it at some point and leave a review on my Letterboxd. Oh wow, it's 3 hours and 4 minutes long. That's quite long. I just saw that down here. So The Deer Hunter. All right, these next two I have seen. So we have A24's Civil War, written and directed by Alex Garland, one of my favorite directors working today. This is a really cool, I guess not cool, but interesting movie that came out a couple years ago about wartime journalism, and this is set in like a dystopian America where there's a civil war in America, and these journalists were going down to the White House or Washington D.C. to interview the president, and it was just about their journey to get down there from I think New York City. So really interesting, lots of interesting plots, subplots in the movie. Some things you could maybe relate to today's political climate in the United States. But yeah, this one was starring Kirsten Dunst and Wagner Moura, both really great in this movie. And Cailee Spaeny as well, she's great. She was in the Priscilla movie that A24 came out with a couple of years ago as well. So really enjoyed this one a lot, even though it might be kind of anxiety inducing. Next up, we have The Babadook, which is one of my favorite horror movies. This is the 10th anniversary edition, which is crazy because I remember when I watched this when it came out back in high school. And this is an Australian horror movie. Basically, a single mother is plagued by the death of her husband and now battles her son's fear of monsters lurking in the house. And she doesn't really believe the son, starts bringing him to therapy, and then some weird things start to actually happen. Really great performance from the main actress. What's her name? I'm not entirely sure. I'm not sure. I'll put it on the screen here. But yeah, I need to revisit this one because again, I haven't seen it in a long time. And I'm glad I finally have it on physical media as an excuse to watch it again. So there we go, The Babadook. This one I haven't seen, but I picked it up because it was sealed and it won Best Picture. And the cast list is kind of nuts. Sandra Bullock, Don Cheadle, Brendan Fraser, Terrence Howard, Ludacris, Thandie Newton, Michael Pena. So really star-studded cast. I guess I don't really know too much about what it is. Um, I'm reading the back here. It's about a volatile intersection of multi-ethnic cast of characters struggling to overcome their fears as they careen in and out of one another's lives. In the gray area between black and white, victim and aggressor, during the next 36 hours, they will all collide. So interesting, I guess. Don't know much about it based off of that, but again, it won 3 Academy Awards, Best Picture. This one kind of gets criticized. I've heard in like the movie world for winning Best Picture, but I'll leave it up for me to decide. So we got Crash. This one I have seen as well, Full Metal Jacket, Stanley Kubrick, probably one of my favorite Kubricks, and yeah, just really gritty, funny at times and heartbreaking at others. I never realized that the private pilot was Vincent D'Onofrio, and that was really interesting. And then what's his name? R. Lee Emery. He was, this is a standout role, I think. He was a former drill sergeant, so it kind of worked out perfectly in his favor. And yeah, one of my favorite war movies. It kind of delves into the psychological aspects of war and abuse and trauma. So if you haven't seen this one, you like war movies, definitely check it out. Now, this one I have not seen, The Life of Pi, in this really interesting 3-disc collector's edition with a nice slipcover here. I believe it's the same art. Whoops. Same art here. Yeah, same art on the actual Blu-ray. Haven't seen this one. I know it's visually impressive. Has 11 Academy Award nominations. So at some point I'll watch this one and I'll leave a review on my letterbox as well. I kind of avoided it because then I get really sentimental with animals in movies, and obviously there's a tiger in here, and I didn't want it to pass away, so that's kind of what's always held me back from watching this one. But I really need to. Life of Pi, Invictus. This is an interesting movie with Morgan Freeman and Matt Damon about the South African rugby team. I've never seen it either, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Morgan Freeman plays Nelson Mandela. And yeah, I don't really know much about it other than that it was a one praised for probably being the best rugby movie out there. And was this directed by Clint Eastwood? Yeah, produced and directed by Clint Eastwood. So I always like his movies as well. So I'll give it a try. Put it on Letterboxd. The Little Mermaid Diamond Edition. I got this for super cheap because it was missing a disc. It was missing the DVD. So I don't really care about that. All I care about is the Blu-ray, so I kind of benefited from that. And again, if I ever want to just get a cheap Little Mermaid DVD and throw it in there just to complete it, I can do that. But yeah, one of my favorite movies growing up, would watch this with my sister and my family all the time. And yeah, that's all I really have to say about it. Just nostalgia was really what drove me to buy this one. So, Little Mermaid. Now, these next 3 are Criterions. These are my first Criterions in the collection. This is The Taste of Cherry, which is a Persian movie. It came out in 1997. I haven't seen it. So it's about a suicidal man, and he's going through Iran. And it's just about his story, what he encounters during those times. And it's one of the best foreign language films ever. So really excited to watch this one. My wife is Persian, or my fiance is Persian, so maybe she can translate a little bit of it for me. But really excited. Want to get more into Persian movies. There's a couple more Persian movies in here that I'll point out when we get to them. So there's The Taste of Cherry. Another Persian Criterion movie here we have is The Runner. I haven't seen it either. It seemed pretty interesting. This came out in 1984, and it's about childhood. And on mythic dimensions, it's about a young orphan fending for himself on the streets of a port city, determined to rise above his circumstances. Like I said, I haven't seen it yet, so at some point I will, and throw it on my Letterboxd. So we have The Runner, and this is a 4K Criterion that I picked up. Raging Bull, the Martin Scorsese movie, came out in 1980. I have not seen this one, but I've seen some great clips online, and it looked amazing from like the cinematography aspects and the script, everything like that. Don't have much to say about it, of course, because I haven't seen it. But like I said, this is the 4K version of the movie. There's the 4K and the Blu-ray. And yeah, really excited to pop this one in. And I wanted to get this one on its best quality that's been released. So the 4K is what I got. And there it is, Robert De Niro in Raging Bull. This is another Persian movie, The Secret Ballot, human comedy. And right here it says, in Iran, the selection day was just the beginning. This is about, I guess, a woman going across Iran collecting ballots for an election. It's kind of it says it's a black comedy, so that'll be kind of interesting. And it's rated G, so who knows what that means, but I don't have much to say about it other than that I will watch it and review it on my Letterboxd. So there's The Secret Ballot. This is one that I had picked up as a blind buy. The King Tide. It's a Canadian movie. So the synopsis is: after the mayor of an idyllic island village discovers a child with mysterious powers awash on their shores, the once peaceful community is divided by conflict, torn over the belief that the child is the next savior. Looked interesting enough to me based off of that, and also the covers, intriguing me as well. I like thrillers and horror movies, so I thought I'd give it a chance. Got it on Amazon as well. Now this one I have also not seen. Don't kill me, but The Shawshank Redemption with Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman. Now I'm a huge Stephen King fan in terms of his stories. I haven't read a lot of them, but I love the worlds that he can create. I need to watch this one. I really need to watch this one along with The Green Mile. I've heard this is better than The Green Mile, so at some point I'll watch it and throw it up on my Letterboxd. And yeah, I'm just happy to own it. So now I have more of an excuse to pop it in and watch it. So there we go, The Shawshank Redemption. Then I got this really awesome release of the Back to the Future trilogy, the 30th anniversary trilogy. It's the Blu-ray and digital HD combo pack. I'm not gonna pull everything out of here, but I've seen all three of these movies. I think it goes in order as for my favorites. Like the first is my favorite, then the second one I do really like. The third one's fine, not my favorite, but I think just to round out the trilogy, I thought it'd be great to pick this up at the used bookstore for really cheap as well. So there we go, Back to the Future trilogy, one of my favorite trilogies out there. I got this one because the back of it seemed interesting. The 33. It's a true story with Antonio Banderas. It's about the 33 Chilean miners that were trapped in a mine collapse for 69 days. It doesn't have the best reviews, but like I said, I'll pop it in and watch it for myself and judge it based off of my own viewing. And yeah, I like true disaster stories like this. And yeah, I'll check it out and throw it on my letterbox. The 33. This is probably one of my favorite movies of last year. One battle after another. I went to Walmart to pick this up as soon as it released. This is the 4K with the digital code. DiCaprio, Sean Penn, Del Toro, Regina Hall, and Teyana Taylor. Excellent movie by Paul Thomas Anderson. Kind of an interesting plot. Once you get past that and really just kind of, dive into the performances in this movie, you'll really, really have a good time with it. And DiCaprio is excellent. Sean Penn is even better. I'm sure he'll win Best Supporting Actor. And Teyana Taylor won a Golden Globe for this performance. So really just a all-around excellent film, original story, and everything like that. So if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. I think it's on HBO Max right now. One battle after another. And then another one I haven't seen, but at some point I will, Silver Linings Playbook. Jennifer Lawrence won Best Actress for this movie. I'm pretty sure it's like a romantic comedy with some drama elements in it. I see De Niro is also in this movie. Kind of interesting. So yeah, I don't have much to say about it. I think it's set in Philadelphia, based off of their Eagles jerseys in the movie. But yeah, I haven't seen it yet. We'll watch it at some point, and again, I'll add it to my Letterboxd. All right, that was the second stack. Let's go on to the third one. All right, last stack. Here we go. First movie here we have is Star Wars The Last Jedi. Now, I am a completionist in terms of movies, big franchises like this, so I do have The Force Awakens. I really did enjoy that movie when it came out. This one was not as much, and then the third one I don't own, but I think at some point I'll pick it up for really cheap on eBay or something. But I found the slipcover here for this one. Has some interesting moments. Again, not the best movie, but I have to complete it for my Star Wars collection. So, The Last Jedi. Then I got this one, The Beauty and the Beast, 25th anniversary edition, Walt Disney Signature Collection. This is another movie I would watch with my family all the time growing up. Really love it. The music, the animation, the voice acting, the characters, everything about it I really, really love. And yeah, I need to get it on physical media so I can watch it whenever I want. I know it's on Disney Plus, but that's not really the point of collecting media. So this is it has the DVD in here as well. So really fun release of The Beauty and the Beast, or Beauty and the Beast, not The Beauty. This one I haven't seen, but it's from the makers of Coraline and Paranorman, the Box Trolls. Don't have much to say about it. It has this fun lenticular slip here. Yeah, not much to say about it. I'll add it to my watch list and put it on the Letterboxd. Now, this one I have seen. Speaking of Paranorman, from the makers of Coraline. I really enjoyed this movie a lot. The stop motion animation style was really awesome, similar to Coraline, and yeah, it was a great, fun little, I guess, group adventure mystery movie. Kind of has some elements of Stranger Things now that I'm looking at it, or like the Mystery Machine Scooby Doo type of fun group adventure. Lots of great people in this movie: Anna Kendrick, Casey Affleck, Christopher Mintz-Plasse, Leslie Mann, and John Goodman. So great voice cast, and yeah, really happy to have this on in my collection as well now, and can put it right next to my Box Trolls and Coraline Blu-rays. This one I haven't seen, Moonrise Kingdom. So Wes Anderson, I have not seen many, if any, of his films. Some of his styling can be a little bit pretentious for me, and I've heard that this is probably like one of his easiest watches in terms of that it doesn't really have a huge, I guess, pretentious aspect of it. And the cast is great: Bruce Willis, Edward Norton, Bill Murray, Frances McDormand, Tilda Swinton, Jason Schwartzman. A lot of these guys are frequent Wes Anderson collaborators. I don't really know much about it. I've seen lots of clips of it online. Seems like it'd be a fun story. It's a story of two 12-year-olds who fall in love. So yeah, I'll check it out and put it on my letterbox, like I mentioned before. Another one from Leica, which is the Coraline Paranorman Box Trolls company, Kubo and the Two Strings. I remember really liking this one as well, and the cast is great. Charlize Theron, Rooney Mara, George Takei, Matthew McConaughey, Ralph Fiennes. This one's about a story about a boy. I think it was like avenging his mother's death or something like that. I'll have to rewatch it again because it's been a while. He accidentally summons an evil spirit seeking vengeance. Now he has to solve the mystery of his fallen samurai father and his mystical weaponry, as well as his own magical powers. So, really nice, fun stop motion type of movie, same as those other ones I had mentioned. And yeah, at some point I'll have to rewatch this one, but I did really enjoy it when I did see it. So Kubo and the Two Strings. Another one I haven't seen, but I love Denzel. This is Flight. I know there's like themes of alcoholism in this movie. Haven't watched it, like I've said, but you can't go wrong with Denzel Washington, one of the best actors working today and of all time, in my opinion. So eventually I'll get around to watching this one. Denzel Washington in the Flight. This one, another one I watched all the time growing up, and it is super sad. Tugs at the heartstrings. Bridge to Terabithia. Anna Sophia Robb, and oh my God, what's his name? Josh Hutcherson. Man, what a tough movie. It's hard to imagine this as a kids movie, but yeah, great overall messaging and meaning to this with Jess Aarons and Leslie Burke are the characters. It's based off a book, and yeah, I won't spoil it in case you haven't watched it, but again, really sad movie at times, but also empowering in others. Bridge to Terabithia. This one I haven't seen either. Beasts of the Southern Wild. The synopsis looked interesting to me, and the overall art looked kind of interesting as well. Don't know much about it, but I guess it has good reviews on Letterboxd, so I'll check it out eventually and leave a review of my own. So, Beasts of the Southern Wild. Rocket Man. Taron Egerton is Elton John. This is the Elton John biopic. I've heard excellent things about this one. I've heard it's better than Bohemian Rhapsody, which is the Freddie Mercury biopic that kind of kicked off these whole musician biopics that have been coming out the last few years. But yeah, I haven't watched this one. I will at some point. It contains actually I guess like a book from Elton John in here. You know, some pages in there. I won't fully take it out, but cool release. Again, got it for really cheap at a used bookstore. Now, these two next two I have seen The Holiday, probably my favorite Christmas holiday movie. You know, Cameron Diaz, Kate Winslet, Jude Law, and Jack Black. My mother loves this movie as well. It's a big movie in my family. We all really like it. And I haven't had it, I never bought it on physical media, and now I finally have it, so I can watch it again whenever I want. And yeah, great movie. I love Jack Black as well, one of my favorite actors. And yeah, just a great overall feel good holiday love story and movie. So recommend it if you've never seen it. Then I have the original release of Pinocchio. I actually just watched the Guillermo del Toro version the other day. I really enjoyed that one a lot. It was more faithful to the original story of Pinocchio. But of course, this is the Disney one. I really like this one as well too. I mean, how can you go wrong with you know, some original Disney? And got this for like $2.99. For some reason, I don't know why. It was in, you know, both the DVD and Blu-ray are in here. I guess it's missing the digital code, but whatever. Pinocchio. This one I haven't seen. This is another Persian movie. The Wind Will Carry Us from 1999. Now, this one, again, I don't really know too much about it. It follows an undercover documentarian whose assignment is to cover a small village's funeral rites, and is continually frustrated by an elderly woman's refusal to die. Along the way, though, he forges surprising, unsettling, and enlightening connections with those he meets. So, yeah, it's set in rural Iran. Another one that I will, you know, watch and add to my Letterboxd reviews, and yeah, hopefully I like it. Another Criterion. Now, this one was the first Persian movie I picked up. It's Kino Lorber release, and it's super beat up, but I got it really cheap. Whoop. A girl walks home alone at night. Now, this is a vampire movie set in Iran. It actually says right here, the first Iranian vampire western. Again, I haven't seen it. I will eventually watch it and, you know, put my review up on Letterboxd, but really interesting movie looking, or at least case, you know, and it's intriguing, definitely intriguing. So I'll let you know how I feel about that one. This one I actually just threw on yesterday or the day before. I kind of fell asleep, but I definitely saw Halle Berry's Berries, if that's what you want to call it. You know, pretty cheesy, pretty not a great movie. Not a really intriguing story either, but the cast is good. You know, John Travolta, Hugh Jackman, Don Cheadle, and again Halle Berry. Like I said, I fell asleep during this one. I'll probably throw it back on at some point and power through it, but yeah, I'm not sure if this one I will keep in the collection. But Swordfish. Now, this is the only steelbook I picked up. A Minecraft movie, and this really cool steelbook with all of the elements on the from the movie in here. Now, is this the best movie I've ever seen? No, this is also 4K. It's not the best movie I've ever seen. Definitely has its like eye-rolling moments, but I love Jack Black, and he is completely unhinged in this movie as in his role as Steve. And I saw the steelbook. I'm like, this is a really cool looking steelbook. I love Minecraft. I love playing it growing up. So I picked this one up, you know, just for fun, kind of a guilty pleasure. But again, I really do enjoy the look of that steelbook too. This one, next one, I haven't seen. Picked it up for my fiance Layla because she's a big Beatles fan. This is Yesterday. I guess it follows a guy that lives in a world where everyone has forgotten the Beatles except him. So then he kind of goes on like a world tour, like singing their songs and stuff like that. I guess I don't know. I haven't seen it, but it seems kind of interesting, and me and my fiance will watch it. Not sure how long it'll stay in the collection, but we'll see. Next up, I got the 4K of Spider-Man: Far From Home. Now, everyone kind of you know craps on this movie, but I really did enjoy it. I like Jake Gyllenhaal's performance. I like that it was set in Europe. Um, it was it takes place after Endgame. I know people kind of crap on the whole plot line that's just about him receiving glasses from Tony Stark, but it's kind of goes a little bit deeper than that. It's kind of more important. It has more importance than just glasses, but yeah, this is the 4K. Got it for really cheap as well. Next up here, A Star Is Born, the special encore edition. I have seen this one. I really did enjoy it. I thought I wouldn't just because I don't really like musical movie type of things, but this one I did enjoy with Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga. I do really want to see the original with Chris Christopherson and Barbara Streisand, I believe. But yeah, pick this one up. Really, cool slipcover as well. Different art on the slipcover and the actual disc. So yeah, A Star Is Born encore. And then this last one I haven't seen either, but I really do want to check it out. Reign Over Me with Adam Sandler and Don Cheadle. Seemed interesting. I saw good reviews about it. I guess it's about two college friends that slipped away and then kind of were drawn back together because of a tragedy in one of their lives. So yeah, I'll check it out and put it on my letterbox with their review. So that's everything. That's all the movies I picked up over the last month or so. Let me know what you guys think. Which ones you really do like, which ones you don't like, which releases you thought looked cool, things like that. And yeah, I'll be back at some point with some more movie Blu-ray content on the channel and sports card stuff too. Don't worry, I'm not completely ditching sports cards. I still love sports cards, but these are real. This hobby is really it's really more hobby focused. It's not really as much about like rarity and things like that. It's about the love of film and certain movies that just hit a tone with you. So yeah, I don't want to keep rambling on, but hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you did, subscribe and all that good stuff. And without further ado, I'm just gonna peace out here and say bye. See you later.